Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top five are correct, then make predictions for next week's top five. So let's get right on into it. Last week, I predicted that number one would be Onward, number two would be Bloodshot, number three would be I Still Believe, number four would be The Invisible Man, and number five would be The Hunt. And I got 3 out of 5 of my predictions right for this weekend, mostly because the coronavirus has highly affected how people are going to see movies. If they are going to, movie theaters could potentially shut down soon if they really want to push it that far, depending on how widespread this disease goes. So it's really going to be interesting these next couple of weeks. As far as this series goes, we may have to stop making episodes for a while. So let's just deal with today though and go over what happened in the overall top 10, how this virus has really affected all these movies. Onward, for example, did come in number one, but it dropped really low. It opened with $40 million last weekend, and it had a 70% drop, only making $10 million this weekend. Now, this adds to a domestic total of $60 million, and compared to Pixar's lowest grossing Pixar film domestically, The Good Dinosaur, it is $63 million away from outgrossing that, and worldwide, it has just now crossed over $100 million, was sitting at $101 million. So that's solid for them, but it's nowhere close to doubling their $150 million budget anyways, but also their lowest grossing film, The Good Dinosaur, it needs $232 million more to outgross that. But right now, because of the virus, and considering that not too many people were really welcoming to it last weekend since it opened so low, it's looking like Onward is probably going to stay Pixar's lowest grossing film by no fault to anyone other than this virus and maybe a lack of interest beforehand considering its opening weekend. So that really sucks for this movie. Obviously, Pixar usually rakes in a lot of cash. Even The Good Dinosaur, with it being their lowest grossing film, it still managed to make $300 million overall worldwide, make some bit of profit. But this movie, it's not looking like it's going to. It's looking like Pixar and Disney are going to lose a lot of money on this, which really sucks because not only is it a good movie, but it is one that a lot of people could connect to on a more emotional level. I'm hoping that when it comes to Disney Plus later on, after its overall theatrical run, which may be very short, that maybe it can get a cult following then. Maybe it can spread to other people. It can have a new life there. But right now, as far as its financial return goes, it's looking like it's not going to have any. Number two, we have I Still Believe, beating out Bloodshot, making $9.5 million on a budget of $12 million. The budget on Wikipedia is like $10 to $14 million, so right down the middle is 12. So that means they need to double that budget to be considered a success, which means they need to pass $24 million, and since they don't have a worldwide total right now, this isn't really the best opening weekend, especially since people are not going to be going to the movies as much these next couple weeks. It opened $8 million behind the opening weekend of I Can Only Imagine, the same team making this movie, and domestically it is $74 million behind its overall theatrical run, and because it's opening up at this time, it's looking like that's not going to happen. So maybe by a slim chance a worldwide total can come in and can bump up the numbers a bit more, and maybe just by a slim chance double its budget. It still probably won't make as much as I Can Only Imagine, which must suck for that company, but at least it's not as big of a loss as number three, which is Bloodshot, making $9.3 million on a budget of $45. Now this is actually pretty low as far as big budget action hero superhero movies go, because this is based off of a comic, but considering that it only opened with $9 million, that's not a very good start. Worldwide it is sitting at $25 million, but still, you are putting that up with a budget of $45 million. They need to double that, get to $90 million to be considered a success, and it's not getting the best critical reception either. I can only imagine that it's going to drop off even lower because of the coronavirus and also just lack of interest on this movie's part. A lot of people have not been saying the best of things about it critically, so I can't really see this movie doing that well either. Number four, we have The Invisible Man making $6 million, adding to a domestic total of $64 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $122 million. It's officially Lee Winnell's highest grossing film domestically and worldwide, which is good. At least we have one financially successful movie in this top 10. So this is doing pretty well for the Blumhouse company, but at number five, we have Blumhouse's latest, The Hunt, and usually their budgets are really low. This movie has a budget of $14 million, and they just opened with only $5 million, and no worldwide total as of right now to see if it can bump them up a little bit more. They need to double that $14 million budget to be considered a success, and it's also looking like, especially because this is a polarizing movie for sure, a lot of people are kind of split down the middle as far as how they feel about it, it's probably not going to have that many legs, especially because of the coronavirus and people not going to the movies as much. Number 6, we have Sonic the Hedgehog making $2.5 million, adding to a domestic total of $145 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at $306 million. Now, domestically, it just got $1 million over Detective Pikachu, which makes it the highest grossing video game adaptation domestically overall, which is great for this movie. Worldwide, it still has a long ways to go in order to beat Detective Pikachu, however, and it's looking like that because, once again, the coronavirus is probably going to slow it down. It still isn't released in China, which is obviously a huge money maker as far as these movies go. It's looking like it's going to really start to die down in these next couple weeks, and as much as Sonic started off really strong, it's looking like it's about to come to a big halt. Number 7, we have The Way Back making $2.4 million. This was another one that dropped really big with 70%, adding to a domestic total of $13 million, and there's no worldwide total once again to see if it is able to double its $25 million budget. Now, as far as Gavin O'Connor's films go, it just outgrossed Warrior, which is good, and it's $2 million away from outgrossing his film Pride and Glory, which is solid. Worldwide, however, it needs $10 million more to outgross Warrior and $29 million to outgross Pride and Glory. Now, as far as Gavin O'Connor's other films domestically, it's definitely going to outgross those, but the worldwide ones, maybe it'll get its $10 million for Warrior eventually, but the 29 one, especially in these very confusing, unpredictable times, I'm not really sure if it's going to be able to progress even further as far as Gavin O'Connor's personal career goes. Number 8, we have The Call of the Wild making $2.2 million, adding to a domestic total of $62 million. And last week I made an error. I said the worldwide total was added to $115 million. That turned out to be false because this weekend it's sitting at an even lower number of $107 million. They've still managed to cross over $100 million, which is solid for them, but it's not as high as I said last week, and I guess I just felt bad subconsciously and I wanted to give them a boost and I didn't even know it. Oops. Either way, it's still not doing very well, but it wasn't doing well before the coronavirus hit, so I don't think this is obviously a fault to the coronavirus. Number 9, we have Emma making $1.3 million, adding to a domestic total of $10 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $25 million. I wish we had a budget to see if $25 million was enough to double whatever budget it is. I'm hoping maybe that it was, but I'm assuming it costs a little more than just like $5 million because of all the pretty costumes and the sets and the stars you got in here, so I just really wish we could see a budget. This was one that last weekend it did all right, but it wasn't like a big money maker either, and unfortunately it is now dropped even more, which is really bad. Now, to close out this video, we have number 10, Bad Boys for Life, $1.1 million, adding to a domestic total of $204 million. Worldwide, that adds to a total of $417. So yay, we're closing out this video with a movie that's been successful since January and is now only dropping low because it's been out for so long as opposed to the coronavirus, although the coronavirus has definitely impacted a lot of these movies here. Now, you might be wondering, Jackson, this is the part where you make predictions for next week's top 5. Well, since A Quiet Place Part 2 got postponed, and so many other movies in these next couple weeks have been postponed, and it's looking like these movies are just going to be the only ones that are out and potentially theaters could shut down, for a while I'm just going to not make predictions, and I'm not going to ask any of you guys to make predictions. So I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be making predictions for a while until we can get back to normal, until this disease subsidizes. Hopefully, I'm praying that we can get on top of this soon. But either way, if you got your predictions right for this weekend, you can get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time, but also be sure to stay healthy, wash your hands as much as possible, just keep up good hygiene, do whatever you can to remain healthy and not potentially infect others if in case you have something that you can infect people with. Just be safe out there, guys. Love you.